My name is Eric Shin. I'm with Nalwoodi Denzhone Community. I'm their project manager and operations manager.
Dagote Kari Sage Curly Gonze, She Kaitit Eden Shimasin Curly Gonze. I'm the vice president organization, Nalwoodi Denzhone, NDC. Nalwoodi meaning strength, Denzhone meaning beauty, and Apache. So we are strength and beauty. We are the life center here.
So today we're going to be talking a little bit about what we do as an organization. We titled this presentation Creativity and Connectedness because that is really what we do. We find creative ways to connect with people, individually, as an organization, and really to build strong collaborations for the future, for long-term sustainability for the San Carlos Apache community. This is our mission. I'll just go ahead and read it. NDC is a 501c3 nonprofit organization providing revitalization services to the San Carlos Apache children and families through creative and life-transforming projects at the Dripping Springs property, considered the old tree farm here on the San Carlos Apache Reservation. So pretty much what that means is very wordy, but we just find creative ways to reach people and to really, transform people's lives in a holistic way. To fulfill our mission, there's three main areas we focus on. We take a holistic approach that's creating an Apache way of transformation that involves mind, body, soul, and spirit. Transformation is a big part of what we do, creating a new way of rehabilitation and personal development that is full of life, inspiration, and purpose, and sustainability, creating new ways of provision for the San Carlos community. This is a graph we found online, and we really like this a lot. We've been around for maybe about 5-6 years, doing a lot of different things, mainly gardening, agriculture, working in the detention center and local schools. But when we came across this graph, we realized that what we're doing is actually working in food security. And we've really touched on almost every part of this kind of path. And what we eventually want to grow in and be very strong in is our youth education and mentor promoter program. But as we go through these slides, you'll get a kind of a glimpse into a little bit of everything here that you see. So this past year in 2020, as you all know, was a very difficult and challenging year. We had our challenges, but with that came a lot of opportunity for us to serve. One of the things that we did was we provided food boxes for the community, which started with, just a few donations and grew into a pretty large operation. Here we see some of our friends and collaborators and family members working together to build boxes for the community. The idea was brought about by our president, Bryce Barnes, his wife, Tara. In the middle picture there, also my wife is there, Christine. You can see on that shelf, we only had a few donations at first. And then if you look at the picture on the right, our donations just started coming in. More and more people wanted to donate. We started collecting canned foods, non-perishables, diapers, dog food, cat food. And then the picture on the left, you see many more shelves we had to purchase, more donations to the store, and many volunteers that came and helped us with our operations. These are some of the pictures of the deliveries and the shipments we would receive. The picture on the top left is from a local church that donated tons of food to us and other agencies in the local area. The picture on the top right is actually at Bryce's, at his house in his backyard. we received, I think, 2 tons of produce that day from a local grocery store that was, all the produce was going bad. So none of that went to waste. We were able to pack all that with volunteers, deliver it in the community the next day, and all the other produce that was kind of rotten or spoiled, that went to local ranchers and farmers for their animals. Yeah, bottom left, you know, sometimes we would just load up our trucks and go out into the community and give out. And the bottom right picture is working with Turk, which was a local emergency response committee for the tribe, helping them and them helping us really get some food to the people that needed it. And here are some of the pictures of people that received some of the boxes. Kids in the community, we partnered with local schools that made like activity bags with toys, workbooks, and kids at the time were at home, had nothing to do, couldn't go to school. So we were able to get some activities for them in the community. And the bottom right, Carrie will talk more about the Apache Giant, but that is something we grow here, a traditional crop we grow in our garden. And, you know, we delivered those also to the community, and people were really excited to see, you know, something they haven't seen in a long time. The next section is our garden. I really like this quote a lot. I know of no restorative of heart, body, and soul more effective against hopelessness than the restoration of the earth. And as you'll see, you know, this is a big part of what we do here at NDC. We try to reach people through our garden. We have kids out here. Just the other day, we had about 20 kids planting seeds, tilling up the soil and learning how to plant. And that is kind of where we start with our life transformation.
So right here, we have to the top left, we have Jerry, who's the elder here. He's Nnee, and he actually volunteered his time along with his wife, Linda, to bring out his personal tractor. This was probably about 3 years ago. He's been doing it for the past 3 years, coming out here and just, you know, helping us clear our garden and till our garden. So I'm really grateful for our friendship of him coming out here with his own equipment. So there he is plowing the land right there and cleaning up. That's all mustard seed. So to the right of that, you see that it's just waist high of just filled with mustard seed. And that's his very first plow going in there, the very first track. And from there, this is last year, 2020, our garden, what it looks like today. And the drip lines right there, we're getting ready to prepare how many seeds we're going to put into the ground. And that's like a weed mesh cover that we had, you know, always trying to improve our weed control here in the garden. So, and that's the very end of the plowing, the mustard seed right there to the bottom right. As Jerry was going on with his tractor, I was going along with our lawnmower and getting, you know, closer to the fence. So that was an all evening chore to get done, but we got it done. And, you know, it's all for the people in the garden. And right here we have Juan right there to the left with the fire tool in his hand. Juan Arias works with U of A tribal extensions out here in San Carlos, and he's done so much amazing work for the San Carlos community with the whole farming and agriculture that he has the background. And he does 4-H here as well in the garden. They have their own plot in the second plot here. And I've learned under the 5 years that I've been here with NDC, I've learned so much under Juan and all that he has to offer. I mean, this guy does a lot. So I have a lot of respect for him and the collaborations that we have over the years with him and U of A extensions. And also we have another picture of the garden right here, which are zucchini you see to the top right. And then to the bottom of that, to the left, we have myself and Corey, who's a Papuan from Indonesia, who is actually going to college in Portland. And during the pandemic, you know, he had some hard times, and he built a relationship with Bryce, our president at the time. And being that we wanted to see if we could help him out, and we did. He came as summer intern with us. And alongside right there is Danny Stevens, who's also a tribal member here, and she was going to school in Pennsylvania, and she came back during the pandemic, and she actually reached out to Eric on our Instagram, DM'd us, and was interested in the garden and the work that we have here. So that was just a beautiful friendship right there, finding the collaborations of the Papuan people and their culture, you know, alongside with the Apache people here was really cool to kind of intertwine that and weave that friendship. And, you know, I know that Corey actually wants to have a chicken coop and a little farm for his people in Indonesia one day. So to have him here, you know, work on the ground was really awesome. And right there next to that is our Black Beauty zucchini. I think that was like maybe one of our first harvests that we had, a good harvest right there. And then to the more right of that is myself with the Apache Giant, a wheelbarrow full of Apache Giant. Again, the Apache Giant, like Eric said, is just a traditional crop, and it's very tasteful. And the elderly actually go crazy for that. They can throw some blows. They really love that stuff. You know, they hold it precious, you know, close to their heart and their taste buds. It's nothing like that, and I'm really grateful that we are growing our traditional crops here. You know, seeing our elders happy makes me shishgonjo. Shishgonjo means, you know, happy. It makes me happy to see our elders happy, that they see us putting in the work here. And our mission now as NDC, you know, I don't care if you're Apache or not. I just want you to have a taste palette for these traditional crops. We need to get back to that, eating, you know, more organic and more healthy, because in a lot of communities, just like our community here and surrounding communities, you know, we have a lot of diabetes and high blood pressure. Yeah. So. And right here to the left, we have Tina Anderson and her daughter and her granddaughters right there that came out to the pumpkin patch. They just came out one day and saw that on our Facebook that we had a pumpkin patch here, and they came out and harvested on pumpkins, which is really awesome. We encourage the community to come out here. It is a community garden, so we really love for people to come out here and educate them, you know, and them educating us on history of past fields in the, you know, in the past. So. And then to the top right of that, we have Machen, Danny, and Eric's girls, myself, just selling our produce. We had blue corn last year. This was last year. Machen had made that sign right there that you guys see. And it's just really awesome to get out there for the community. A lot of the community, you know, have a hard time getting places. You know, transportation is always an issue. But for us, we're always trying to find ways of how can we be in the community. We're about mileposts 7 and 8 on Route 6 out of the main community. So any way that we can. This is right there by the old Boys and Girls Club, and it's actually a skate park. And that's where a lot of people come to sell, vendors. And to the bottom of that is a cool setup that Eric and Sunny actually did last year for our little farmers market. And you have, you know, the hay and the pumpkins, the giant right there, all different sizes. Again, the elderly, they like to touch their crops, right? It's just like when you go into a produce store, or, you know, you go to the produce section in the store, you kind of look at the fruit, what's bad, that's exactly what the elders like to do. They have a different size variety. For the giant, you know, you don't want to get like no bigger than a softball size. It's like, that's the right size you want to get it. Just like any veggies, when it's nice and little, that's when it's more tasteful. More, you get more, you know, just more, I guess, taste out of it. So that's the size that they recommend. Yeah. And right here was last year, we put it upon ourselves to visit Native Seeds. I wasn't able to make that trip, but Eric and a couple of my board members were out to make that and learned about seed saving. And right here, we're seed saving the Apache Giant, just like I talked about, you know, having it small to different sizes. You can see on the bottom middle picture right there, Juan, you know, we cracked it open, and that's how big it gets. I think the biggest one we got was what, 35 pounds last year that we harvested, and we saved about 7 of them. So when we save them, we let them grow as big as they can on the vine, and that's just for the seed to mature. And right there, we have a little concrete slab. We just went out there and dropped all the giants, and yeah, we seed saved. We washed them right there in the big pails, the buckets that you see. Washed them, trying to get all the skin. It's very similar to a pumpkin. If you guys ever carve the pumpkin, you know, you're trying to seed save all that, very stringy, and just try to get all that off of there. And then we lay them on the racks to dry, and yeah, seed save. And then once that's done, put them in a jar in a nice, cold, dark area. And right here we have Danny to the top left, Danny Stevens. The board and Eric decided to give her a project and let her run with it, see what she wanted to improve here on the property. And she took it upon herself to do her own research, and she came up with composting. And so we supported her in any way that we can. And she had her own ideas, you know, ran it by us as a board. There we have the pellets that actually come from the food deliveries, the pellets that came to us. So all the, everything came from the farm. I think we just had a couple of baling wires that, you know, she kind of designed it how she wanted to. And, you know, with just that little seed of planting the idea, you know, now it is what it is today. So you see on the bottom of that is our compost pile today, along with Turk. Again, the produce, you guys know that having fresh produce, you have to get that out quick before it goes bad. So they brought some of their bad produce to us, to our compost pile. On the bottom of that is our sugarcane stalks from last year. And you see to the left of that, you see how it's all kind of piled together with cardboard, a little bit of dirt, you know, coffee grinds, chicken eggs, some of them crack in there, we throw them there. We drink a lot of coffee here, so we got a lot of coffee grinds in there. And then to the right of that, you see one, you see the different more piles. So you see how Danny had 3 piles, then it got bigger and bigger, and now we have, I think we have probably about 7 piles now. And I think we actually have 4 that are ready to go into the garden. So it's really cool to kind of see that transition of composting and the breaking down of that. So yeah, so
I'll talk about another program we have, which is the egg production program. This is very important to us. It's kind of like a very direct way to hash out a lot of things for our organization. We're a young group, a young organization, so we're learning a lot. One of the things we want to provide through this is healthy food to the community. So we use all non-GMO feed, and we sell directly to the consumer, and we also sell to the local businesses. Organizational sustainability. You know, we wanted to learn how to refine our own business practices, how to develop the market around our eggs, and to create a revenue stream for sustainability. And, you know, most importantly, we imagined it to be an educational tool for the youth, to have a place to have like hands-on learning about poultry, animal care. And with our new collaborations with local schools, they've been sending their kids to our site with their teachers, and we work with them, and they help us collect eggs all the way down to the selling and marketing process. So, you know, really growing in that collaboration to use all of our operations as an educational tool. And this is one of the first for us. And yeah, here you see, you know, some of the kids working inside the coop, raking up some of the old pine shavings and manure that'll all go into our compost pile. At the top, you see they've collected eggs and they're putting them into our cartons. They'll put one of our stickers on there. And the bottom left, that's the owners of the San Carlos Cafe. So that's the only local cafe in town, run by, you know, community members here. And so they purchase our eggs every week. And so, you know, the community that buys, you know, the breakfast burritos in the morning, they're, you know, consuming our eggs. And the kids are really, you know, they really like that idea of the work they're putting into is actually going back into the community through eggs, and, you know, people are eating those burritos. So it's great to make those connections. This is another project we embarked on this year, is to put raised bed gardens into the community at different homes. These homes were identified through our food deliveries. We went out into all the different communities in San Carlos and, you know, identified a few families that we felt really wanted to kind of build that relationship with NDC and maybe take it the next step when it comes to, you know, caretaking and personal responsibility. So, you know, the family on the top right, they were, really needed the food boxes, and there were a lot of kids there. And a lot of times, the kids would, just receive the boxes themselves, and they're always so thankful. So we felt they would be a good, first raised bed to put out. And so, yeah, we gathered our troops and went over there, put the raised bed in, and we just checked on it the other day. And they have, watermelon and radishes growing, and, some Apache giant. So, and a lot of the kids are getting inspired by that and watering it, checking the water line. So it's really great to see, their family getting inspired, and hopefully that will, kind of trickle down and inspire other people in the community as well. Here's another one we put out with the help of Juan Arias again from the U of A Cooperative Extension. And this was for a tribal department, the Wellness Center. So we put in 2 raised beds there. We worked with their kids. We helped them build it. We got all the materials. We put up the fence. We planted the seeds that day. So that was a good, 2-3 hours working with those kids, teaching them about just how to plant, and the whole process from building a raised bed, adding the soil, adding the manure, getting the water lines in there, setting up those systems, and actually planting the seeds. And yeah, Carrie just went to check on that the other day, and I hear it's doing really well.
Yeah, it's doing really good. So that's really awesome that the kids, again, like Eric said, that's just that feeling of growing your own food never gets old, to see the first sprouts. And these kids get to witness that. A lot of these kids don't get hands-on, especially even just simple as the tools, the power tools. Eric brings his own power tools. I bring my own power tools, and we're trusting these kids with our own tools. So it's really awesome to see, just to put your trust out there in kids, that they'll put in the hard work. And I think that says a lot. So it's really awesome. I didn't think we are gonna get this much done in that day, but yeah, this is just right downtown San Carlos for the community to see that they're growing their own food at the Wellness Center, and how healing that can be.
Another thing we're developing right now is our commercial kitchen. We have pretty much all the bare bones in place, and now we're just building collaborations in order to use it for educational purposes, and also to provide food for the community.
Here we have Twyla Castador, who's pretty much a rock star in the community. She's a traditional harvest gatherer here. She works with the botanists here at the forestry, and she reached out to Eric and myself and asked if she can come and do an Ekez roasting. So Ekez is the century plant. Right there on the bottom, you see the stalk itself right there, that purple thick stalk. And that's what she's roasting. So in all that mesquite right there is some of that stalk right there. And that was like about maybe an hour to burn. You just let that fire burn down and roast that Ekez. And that's, again, traditional food for us as Nnee people here in this region. And right there you have the 2 bowls, how she kind of prepared it. So one, she prepared it with a little bit of the pistachios that we had here. She just crushed that up. And also some blue corn that came from another farm that donated to us. And she just kind of sprinkled that in there. And then to the right of that, you have more of like a soup variety of it. And then she had it, again, chopped up into chunks. And she put our traditional acorn in there and made like a soup with that. And just these bowls, you guys see, it's not very much, but man, she somehow she makes it stretch for all of us. We had probably about maybe 40 people here. We had the Apache Language Preservation out here. We had some people from White River out here. And just to see this, even with our team here at NDC, always learning from one another, especially people in the community. This traditional cooking is really powerful, and, something that NDC wants to educate more people out there. So yeah, it was really awesome. And we always welcome Twyla here to our garden. She's amazing, huge support of NDC and what we do. And she's also more from the Vilas community, which is more east of us. And she actually comes out here and picks 20 food boxes out of her own truck and takes it out to Vilas to give to the elderly there. And she also harvests some of the giant sugarcane to give out to the elderly there. So great collaboration with Twyla.
And people matter most. This is one of our main principles and mottos. you know, with all the work that we do, giving out boxes, you know, growing stuff in our garden and working with the chickens, you know, if we're not making an impact on people, then we're kind of missing the point. So we talk about this principle a lot. Of course, some more pictures of us working with community members and the kids, such a big part of what we do, and we want to continue growing in that. One leading us planting educational session on the left with the group from the hospital, I believe. These are also kids from the cooperative schoolhouse cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, teaching them how to plant, teaching them about chickens, always a good time. Some more kids that came to visit, learning about eggs, learning about our mini greenhouse, watering the plants. So really getting that hands-on educational experience. And we really see our entire site to be that a tool for education. So in summary, what we do is we reach people holistically, mind, body, soul, and spirit. We provide rehabilitation through opportunities to engage in life-transforming work filled with purpose. And we build healthy relationships and communities through creativity and connectedness. So thank you so much for your time. It's an honor to be here and to share a little bit about what we do. Here's our contact information. If you'd like to reach out to any one of us, feel free to do so through email or through social media. We have a Facebook and Instagram and our website. You can check us out there as well. Thank you very much. And any last words, Carrie?
Yeah, just thank you guys for taking the time to listen to our stories and the community and the surrounding communities. Like Eric said, you know, we just have a great team here. We wear plenty of hats, you know, daily, and we're just really fortunate and blessed to be in this kind of work for the community and have this space for the community. So thank you.
Thanks.